Our story starts with narration from our main hero, Peter Parker, explaining that his life is kind of rough. The boy from Queens, New York City, is a bit of a wimp and more than a bit of a nerd. And since this is 2002 and a movie, people actually care about these things. Peter, his best friend Harry Osborn, his crush Mary Jane Watson, and the rest of their high school senior class are on a field trip to a spider exhibit at a science lab. The lab is doing genetic experiments on spiders to combine various traits together to create a kind of super spider. And you know what?
Okay. You know what? You've seen this movie. You know this story.
The spider bites Peter, he beats up the school bully, he beats up Randy Savage for money that he doesn't get. So he lets a burglar with the money pass him. The burglar shoots his uncle, then Peter becomes a superhero because great power, great responsibility.
Truth, justice, the American way, the heart of the cards, and all that other crap.
Meanwhile, Willem Dafoe plays Harry's dad, a super rich scientist who wants to create super soldiers. But because this is 2002, not 1942, the military doesn't care. Dafoe tests the super soldier serum on himself, and then goes crazy, and decides to kill people because his board of directors is pushing him out.
Which is a really shitty thing, you know? I mean, he started this company. I mean, do you know how much he sacrificed?
Anywho, Dafoe randomly decides he wants to partner up with Spidey. Spidey says no, so Dafoe tries to kill him but fails. Then Dafoe has Thanksgiving dinner with Peter and realizes, holy Moses, I was trying to kill this kid half an hour ago. So then he attacks Peter's Aunt May.
Dick move, but okay.
Then he kidnaps MJ and a bunch of little kids.
Also a dick move, but okay.
But Peter saves the day with the help of some good old post-9/11 patriotism. Then Dafoe tries to kill Peter again, but Peter kicks his ass. So Dafoe pretends to be normal, but Peter doesn't buy it. Dafoe tries to kill him for a third time with his glider, but Peter dodges it, and Dafoe kills himself. A token funeral is held where Harry says he'll finish what his dad started because Spider-Man murdered his dad. Then MJ declares her undying love for Peter, but Peter turns her down because he's a superhero now, and is married to the job. Cut to credits, where we hear the singers for Nickelback and Saliva do a song about heroism that Nickelback haters pretend they don't like. Pros. Tobey Maguire has always been given way too much shit for this role. As Spider-Man, he's genuinely funny, but not in that MCU sort of way, where he's making 48 snarky comments per minute. And as Peter, why does everyone mock the fact that he cries in this movie? The man who raised him from the time he was 6 years old just died right in front of him after he just told him 2 hours earlier that he should stop pretending to be his father. I'm not close with my dad, but if I see him bleeding out on the sidewalk, you can bet your ass there's going to be tears. And frankly, I applaud Tobey for his lack of vanity in just plain ugly crying in this scene. People do not look attractive when they cry. That's why we try to make it stop when we realize we're doing it. But if your dad is literally dying right in front of you, who gives a fuck about being pretty? You know who else gets too much shit for this movie? Kirsten Dunst. I've always liked her as Mary Jane. You literally see her being verbally abused every single day by her dad, and then you see her boyfriend's dad all but call her a gold digger, and then said boyfriend defends his father and not her. And all anyone ever talks about is how she's a damsel in distress. That's a load of crap. And I think it's crap when Lois Lane gets this too, but at least with Lois, you can say she puts herself in harm's way intentionally. She's a reporter. It's her job to be in danger, but whatever. Mary Jane? She's a blasted cashier! She didn't choose to put herself in harm's way. Harm just made its way toward her. The goblin attack on the parade? She was an innocent bystander. He didn't even care about her. The mugging in the alley? It's a big city. Could have happened to anyone. And even then, she still tries to fight them off before Spidey shows up. And her kidnapping? What the hell could she do? The man's a maniac in power armor with already enhanced strength. But all that aside, Mary Jane is a genuinely charming character. Kirsten Dunst has one of the prettiest smiles, and you can easily see why Peter crushes on her. And you genuinely believe her feelings for Peter once she actually gets to know him. Her father always treated her like trash. Harry, and probably Flash Thompson too, really only treated her like status symbols, as if to say, hey, you see this pretty girl right here? She's mine. Meanwhile, Peter's probably the first guy to look at her and say, I like you because you're you. He encourages her to pursue her dream, and that's something that she probably hasn't had before. Now on the topic of people who are beloved, and rightly so. Willem Dafoe is an incredible actor. His character work as Norman Osborn / the Green Goblin is some of the best stuff we've ever seen from an actor in a comic book film, even 16 years later. Without Dafoe, and also Ian McKellen's Magneto, we do not have Josh Brolin's Thanos, Michael B. Jordan's Killmonger, Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, Wilson Bethel's Bullseye, Vincent D'Onofrio's Kingpin, Tom Cavanaugh's Reverse Flash, Sebastian Stan's Soldier, Manu Bennett's Deathstroke, Michael Shannon's Zod, Tom Hiddleston's Loki, Matthew Good's Ozymandias, or even Heath Ledger's Joker. This man is one of the founding fathers of live action and supervillainy. And there's a reason for it. It's a pure delight to watch Dafoe swing back and forth between the cold but well-meaning father, or that is Norman, to the wild-eyed sadist that is the Goblin. And I especially love Dafoe's last scene where we see the Goblin try to pretend to be Norman by trying to convince Peter that he couldn't help himself. Well, the monster made him do it all. And then when the Goblin's trick doesn't work, he just shrugs it off and says, whatever, I was gonna kill you anyways. And then we actually see the real Norman slip through when he asks Peter not to tell Harry what he's done. And while it's fun to do the
"Do you know how much I sacrificed?"
scene, I really do love the scene where he's realizing that all of his business partners are about to steal his baby from him. He has sacrificed a lot. So much of his life is poured into building this company, and they're about to just steal it from him and sell it off to a competitor. You're going to be screaming like a maniac too in that position. Although screaming,
"Do you know how much I sacrificed? Do you know how much I sacrificed?
You know how much I sacrificed?
is still really fun. James Franco is an actor I've always thought was good, but never really great. He's funny in Seth Rogen movies. He was actually pretty good in Rise of the Planet of the Apes and Oz the Great and Powerful. But as Harry Osborn, I've always had a hard time connecting with him until the third movie. But I think that's less because of his performance and more just the character he's given. Because honestly, Harry Osborn is a little bitch in these movies. His best friend tells him what he thinks is a neat fact about spiders. And his reaction is to say that he doesn't care about that. And then he turns around and uses that fun fact to flirt with the girl he knows his so-called best friend like. He spends the first half hour of the movie being uncomfortable, showing his father's wealth. And then when said father tells him that his girlfriend is using him for his money, his first reaction is to yell at said girlfriend for calling his dad a creep. And then when the man who saved his girlfriend, and who the whole city calls a hero, shows up in his house and gently places his dead father on a couch, his first thought isn't, "Oh no, my dad is dead. Thank you for bringing him here so I can bury him," instead of leaving me to worry about his well-being. It's, "You monster! You murdered him!" It's pretty clear this guy isn't written to be especially clever or especially nice. But that said, that seems pretty deliberate. It's not like he's meant to be a smart and kind person, but comes off as stupid and mean. He's meant to be stupid and mean, and Franco does a very good job of playing him as stupid and mean. So, points for that, I guess. Rosemary Harris and the late great Cliff Robertson do a wonderful job playing Aunt May and Uncle Ben. The two of them with Toby feel like an honest-to-God family. Rosemary Harris is still with us, thankfully, but unfortunately, Mr. Robertson passed away in 2011 after his final portrayal of the character and his final performance in 2007's Spider-Man 3. It's telling that despite how good the ever-wonderful Martin Sheen was in 2012's The Amazing Spider-Man, Cliff Robertson is still the person we think of when we think of Uncle Ben. And kudos to Miss Harris as well for being able to go from playing an average old woman dealing with average old woman things to screaming in pure terror when the goblin crashes into her place. You can probably just picture Sam Raimi taking her aside and going, "Okay, Rosemary, he's sitting at the foot of your bed saying the Lord's Prayer, and then Willem is going to come crashing through in a ridiculous suit and start yelling at you to finish the prayer, and you're going to scream, 'Deliver us from evil!'" And Rosemary just went and did it. No problem. Because she's a badass. Danny Elfman. For your work on Justice League, to quote Kendrick Lamar, "But that said, sir, your work on this film is pretty darn great. Your Spider-Man theme may not be the only one, but it's definitely the most iconic. Try as they might, Michael Giacchino, Hans Zimmer, Pharrell Williams, and the late great James Horner could not replicate the magic of those tepid drums followed by one short blast from the horn section. This is genuinely fantastic stuff, which actually kind of makes me hate your work on JL even more. What the hell, man? What the hell?" I love this ending so much. The two more recent Spider-Men have kind of taken two different paths. Andrew's Spidey decided, "Fuck it, I'll tell my GF I'm Spider-Man." Tom's decided, "Fuck it, I'll try to commit to my GF, then completely disappoint her when I inevitably have to be Spider-Man because I won't tell her that I'm Spider-Man." Toby just straight up says, "I'd love to be your BF, but I can't. I'm sorry." And unlike those other two, Mary Jane is someone Toby's been in love with since he was in first grade. He even described her as the girl I've loved since before I even knew I liked girls. This is his childhood crush coming up to him and saying, "I'm in love with you."
I hope I make it through this. So I could see Peter Parker's face one more time.
Really?
There's only one man who's always been there for me. Who makes me feel like I'm more than I ever thought I could be. That I'm just me. And that's okay.
And Peter just tells her, "I can't be with you."
I will always be your friend.
Only your friend, Peter Parker?
That's all I have to give.
Because he's decided his commitment to being Spider-Man outweighs his desire for love. And after multiple seasons of Smallville showing Clark Kent unintentionally emotionally abusing the women he loves, and the first season of Arrow, and the first season of Flash showing Oliver Queen and Barry Allen unintentionally emotionally abusing the women they love, it's really great to see someone who decides, "I'd rather hurt you now by saying we can't be together than hurt you every day by saying we can, but never actually being there." Cons. All of the high school extras in the early scenes of this movie look like they're at least 30. Come on, Sony, you could have tried a little bit harder. Flash Thompson tried to attack Peter. Peter repeatedly avoided doing any harm to Flash and explicitly said, "I don't want to fight you." Flash replied with an implicit threat and continued to try and attack Peter, before Peter finally just grabbed his hand as he was trying to punch him and squeezed his wrist hard enough for Flash to get the point, then pushed him across the hall when he then tripped and fell onto his back. And yet everyone acts like Peter did to him what Ben Affleck did to that warehouse full of thugs in BVS. Why? Why? Seriously, why does the promoter only give Peter $100? He won the match in under 3 minutes. Pay up, asshole. TV Tropes' Your Mileage May Vary page suggests that Peter was supposed to just pretend to fight Bonesaw for 3 minutes and then get the $3,000. But shouldn't that be in the contract? Or something that you should have explained to the kid before the match? If you really want to use that logic, though, why not split the difference and give him $1,500 plus another possible contract to do this full time? Come on. Come on. Snark bait aside, this really is a wonderful movie. It's one of the all-time classic superhero films, and for a good reason. Sam Raimi lovingly recreates Stan Lee's most beloved character with this film, and I'd like to think it was one of the old man's favorites. I'm going to give Sam Raimi's Spider-Man a 4 out of 5. Thank you all for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this review, and if you did, like this video and subscribe to my channel. I'll have a link below to a playlist of all my other superhero reviews for films such as Blade, Venom, Deadpool 2, Black Panther, Justice League, Batman v Superman, Man of Steel, and Watchmen, as well as reviews for the actual Watchmen comic and the video game Marvel Ultimate Alliance, which just might be a tad topical since Nintendo just dropped a trailer for a third entry in that series for just the Switch. I also have reviews for Aquaman and Shazam's first trailers if you're interested. And on the way out after this, I have a tribute set for the late great Steven Hillenburg with my review for the first SpongeBob SquarePants movie, followed by a brief retrospective on the works of Zack Snyder, not as a director, but a producer. This will all be leading into my review for the Aquaman movie proper. Have a great day, everyone. Woodstock, out.